I've been building my business around my audience, not building my audience around my business. And so if you build your audience first, you can build a business from that.
Yeah.
But if you build the business first, now you've got to build the audience. It's so much harder. All right, everybody. Well, welcome back to another episode of Bots in Business. As always, I'm joined by Trent.
Good to be here.
And today I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit more about Chatmatic, actually, because we spend a lot of time on this podcast talking about automations, about list building, and those are like a layer underneath why I built Chatmatic, basically. So to start this off, I want to talk about why did I build Chatmatic? Why am I here in this space with this podcast discussing automations and list building? So going back to 2016, May, I believe it was, May of 2016, Mark Zuckerberg is at his conference and he announces that there's an API for Messenger, and he, as soon as he released it, I saw a couple of really cool opportunities. And the first thing that Chatmatic ever started with was what we call comment triggers, which allow you to send a message to anybody who comments on a Facebook post.
And so that was the main functionality, or the only thing.
Yeah. So we started with that functionality, and then it went into also at the time, you know how we log people into Chatmatic with a button? It says continue with Facebook.
Yeah.
So we had it dynamically creating those buttons, so you could have a button inside of an auto response that it wasn't a button, it was just a link, but inside of an auto response that when the person clicked it, it would opt them in.
So you get their email.
So you would get their email.
Yeah. Okay.
And so Chatmatic got their email. You didn't, but we would distribute it to your system, whatever, however you wanted to do it. So that's how we started it. And it was a really cool platform at the beginning because, at the time, fan pages were a big deal. You could get good organic reach. And I started it off with that pug page that I had. I would post viral content, and I would say, like, comment below for whatever. And so even taking one step back, I knew at the time, that's why I created those two functionalities. Like, one, if you comment, you'll get a message. That was cool because it was connected. And then two was the ability to build an email list. So it was like, I knew ahead of time, like, email was, or like, I've always made all my money off email. In my worst times, I've been able to email and make money. So when I started my career, especially launching my own offers, I started by building my list. I literally the way that I built my list was different back then. I got a bunch of other people who already had lists, and I was like, hey, I have this offer. Why don't you guys promote it? And I built my list from that.
So you were like a JV broker.
Well, yeah, I started as a JV broker, but I had the relationships because I was a broker, and then I created my own offer. And it all came down to, like, somebody could definitely take some advice from this, but it came to me looking at what everybody else was doing to make money. And then I was like, I could do that. And then I actually had to step out of my comfort zone and be like, I'm going to do it then. Like, I'm just going to do it. I'm not just going to say that I could do that. I'm just going to go do it. And I went on, at the time it wasn't called Upwork. It was called something else. But I went on Upwork basically, and I found a guy in Pakistan for $5,000 who built me a WordPress plugin that had landing page functionalities on it, had like opt-in forms. But the reason I started Chatmatic was because I knew this whole time, my whole career has all been about list building. Everything has been about getting leads, because I realized a long time ago, and it still evolves to this day, but I realized that every business is all about lead generation. If you really get down to it, the more leads you have, the better off you're going to be. Most people, we just had this like 5 to 8 year bull run on Facebook ads where you didn't have to build a list in order to be able to profit from it. You could set up a Facebook ad, drive it right to an offer, and make money. And then we had this massive boom the last 5 years where people could, without thinking deep about their marketing, without having to think long term, they were just like, well, I can make money right now, so I'm going to do that. And e-commerce boomed.
How would you define a lead? Like, is a lead somebody that's, I look at it like somebody that's just interested in your business, like a local business. Somebody wants to potentially join your gym. They want to try it out.
Yeah.
That's a lead.
I would
Versus
consider
like
a lead.
Online, it seems like you need email, you need a phone.
Yeah.
You need something that you can reach out to.
Well, I mean, I think still a real lead always has some tangible way of your business being able to reach them.
Yeah.
So they become a lead when they give you some form of contact to be able to reach them. But I think their interest level is probably a little bit more like beginner. When they first become a lead for me, it's somebody that I think might eventually be interested in what I have. They probably right now have no idea, or they're not interested, or they don't, most likely they don't know what I can do. But I think of a lead as anybody who's given me their some kind of information that I can then reach back out to them with. So they become a prospect or a lead, I guess you would call it. But the thing that I found really funny about like Facebook ads is most people now look at Facebook ads the wrong way. They're thinking of it as, or Facebook, YouTube, any ad, as a way of just being able to generate sales. And if you can't generate sales, it's not working.
Yep.
Versus what it's supposed to be is a way to acquire leads. Mm-hmm. And I think if you change your mindset to looking at Facebook or any of these traffic sources as a way of acquiring leads, you're paying instead of getting there organically, right? So like organic on YouTube is you post videos, you get a bunch of followers. Now those aren't technically leads, so to speak, but you do have a way of reaching them, right? They've given you that subscribe, so you have a way of being able to reach them. It's not quite as good as email or SMS, but there are definitely different levels of leads. Like an organic follower isn't as good of a lead as somebody on my email list. But if we change our mindset to Facebook and YouTube are lead acquisition platforms, I can pay to acquire more leads. Then what do I do with those leads? Then I market to them to get them to buy my thing. I really think that we just went through a solid 5 to 8 year bull run on Facebook where you didn't have to think of it as lead acquisition. You could think of it as sale acquisition.
Because you, like the techniques when you were able to really, really retarget was like, okay, this initial one may lose a little bit of money, but
right.
the retargeting
Yeah.
one is where all the money is
and
made.
People, especially with e-commerce, they were making money on their first ad. They were putting up an ad, they were spending $50 a day on it, and they were getting people to buy because Facebook's algorithm was so good when it came to finding converters. And I mean, think about it. Their algorithm is still ridiculous. Like, if I talk about looking at a picture, I get bombarded with competitors of people who are looking to get sales. So,
but I think that's also the competition now is
deep.
Unreal.
I mean, there's
like
so
everything.
much. It's so easy. The cost to that barrier to entry to get on Facebook ads is so small now because there's been so many people who have now gone in and created an account, tried it, done this. So now anybody can get on Facebook ads. The competition for it is crazy. And how many millions of courses are there out there on how to like build an e-commerce company? So it's making more. Shopify is easy to use. Facebook ads easy to use. Now you can literally create a business inside of a week, which, with that happening, there's so many people that are creating competitors.
Thing is, like, it's tough now because of all the competition. They got the big dogs spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, 100 plus.
Yeah, and even talking about that, that's not even competition, right? Like you could have a little supplement brand, but your competition isn't just other supplement brands. When you're advertising on Facebook, it's who else is advertising to that same audience. Yeah. So now you're starting to look at like, when Pepsi and Budweiser and these massive companies that spend millions of dollars on 30-second Super Bowl ads, when they start spending money on Facebook too, they're eating that auction. And so they're raising prices for you because now there's just less news feeds, less ad, real estate. But that's why like the idea of prospect building is why I started Chatmatic, because I saw this opportunity that, wow, this actually puts it in the hands of anybody. You could build an organic audience at the time. You could build an organic audience in any niche. And I built one in the pug niche, just sharing viral content on pugs. Somebody would comment. I would build my list. I then used that list to sell stuff on my store. Mm-hmm. And I made a couple sales. It wasn't anything great, but I literally took images off of, I was getting images from Pinterest, ones that had been pinned a lot, like pug pictures that had been pinned a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that must be a cool shirt design idea. So I'll turn it into a shirt. So I had somebody turn it into a shirt for $30, and I'd put that shirt on a store and email that to my list because it was just a cool idea of figuring out what might sell. Made a little bit of money. It was like I say a little bit of money, literally a couple hundreds of dollars. Like it wasn't like I made thousands. That's why I didn't pursue it because I just didn't care enough. Like I was just doing it to prove the Chatmatic work, and I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I then thought, wow, anybody could build a list with this. Then I got deeper into the API, and I started realizing, wow, Chatmatic shouldn't just do comment replies. What if we did full conversation management? Now you can actually get to know your lead more, walk them through that prospect position, in a sequence, collect that information, and now you have that information. You can use it in marketing in the future, which we've covered the assess and collect funnels in here before, sequences. But that sort of idea was like, oh, that was cool. And then there's all these functions you could add. Like you can have GIFs, you can have images, you can have video, you can have audio, you can have files, you can have typing delays. So it was like building all that in. It's like, okay, now at the time we had this basic, remember the builder, the original builder wasn't drag and drop.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, well now we could add a drag and drop builder. So we did that. That took a couple months. And then it's like, okay, now you have to enhance on that. And so then Instagram came along. So we added Instagram, and it's been this constant evolution, building Chatmatic. But all of it is, at the end of the day, Chatmatic is all built to help somebody build their list in an easy way, in a connected way. That's what Chatmatic is. So it's like when I am talking to somebody who doesn't know anything about Chatmatic, I don't care what your business is. It's like, look, the idea of what I have is to help you build a list. If that's all you know, this should be something that you look into. You should educate yourself enough to know, like, okay, he's going to help me take prospects and turn them into sales.
Yep.
He's going to help me create prospects, work them through sequences that help me turn them into buyers. So I can collect email, I can collect SMS. It's because I even have conversations on Facebook now with friends who know what we do at Chatmatic, and they're like, oh, well, SMS is better. It's like, but you're missing the point. What I do helps you get SMS.
Well, and I was trying to explain this to somebody this past weekend of like, I can collect more than, okay, we always say email and phone number.
Yeah.
But say I wear a medium shirt, my favorite color is blue.
You can collect that
and you
data.
have my phone number.
Yep.
Or, you don't even, I guess, need it at that point. But for this specific conversation, you have my phone number. Now, you can send text messages to me about sales on medium blue shirts.
Or like even a funnier version of that. Let's say you're selling NFL. I'm looking at your hat. So you've got a Bolts hat. Imagine you're selling NHL gear, and the first question you just ask somebody is like, what's your team? Because you might be in Tampa, but your team might be the Blackhawks, right? Because you're from Chicago. It's like, okay, now that you have that information stored, I can send you stuff that is all related to what you want. And
Absolutely.
That's just like the easiest way of looking at what we do, is to be able to customize the offering based on what that person actually wants by just simply asking them. And I think that's huge. And then also, with physical products, digital products, being able to ask people, whether or not they qualify for being interested in what it is that you have.
It's just tough. It's not impossible. It's just tough to do that on a non-conversational platform.
Right. Like, okay, so again, if you're selling hockey gear and you sell it on an e-commerce website, you have to send them to your website and let them search for their stuff.
Yeah.
Versus that Web 2.0 / Web 3.0 view of, I want to bring this to that person. I don't want them to have to look and guess and all this. Yeah, I get emails all the time from brands, like somebody who sells team-based clothing or whatever. But they'll send me a picture of a team that I don't care about. And it's like, you can get, and it'll say on there, like, you can get this with your team, but it's like, but you're not showing me my team.
Yeah.
Just show me my team. And then I'll make a decision whether or not I want to buy it. But it's ultimately the idea of why I created Chatmatic and why I continue to evolve it is because I think that it has the potential of being one of the best list building assets that any business has, because you can now say, I want to make, like, for instance, we're doing a masterclass next week with Andrea. I'm going to do a masterclass with her audience, nice. Yeah, and my audience. We're going to do a masterclass together. She's really good at sales, DMs, and copywriting, and I focus obviously more on the automations. So I'm going to be showing her audience and my audience how to use automations to generate sales, how she got 15% conversion on an order page without having to have a sales page by walking them through the sales process in a message.
Well, she made a killing on those sequences.
Yeah, she did really well, especially considering how much Chatmatic costs. Like that's when it's cool. It's like the fee for Chatmatic is so small that, when you make $3 to $5 grand in a weekend, and then she did like 50, 70 grand selling the coaching after that, which was great. But for something that costs $97 a month, that's not bad. And what I like though is this, like, if I have an idea for an offer, like we're going to do that webinar, that masterclass. All right, I had an idea. I literally sat at my computer for, I want to say 20 minutes, making a full-on sequence that walks people through why they should attend the training. And I'll read it because I think it's beneficial for people to hear the sequence. I literally didn't do anything. And at the end, she said, effing perfect. So you would type, in my system, you would type more sales. Now you'll see, I can show you because you're obviously here. There's really no images except for one in this whole sequence. So I didn't really like snazz it up yet. I'll go back through and I'll put some images in. But it says, hey, let's build your list. Look, most businesses start backwards. They spend all their time and all of their energy building the offer, but then when it's time to release it, they have nobody to sell to. That's not what hyper successful businesses and people do. We have a different way. Click show me and I'll show you the truth. And I'm going to summarize some of this because it's like I said, we have a different way and I want to show it to you. Click show me and we'll get into the truth. I'm going to read it quicker for this purpose, but she clicked show me. I said, okay, simply put, the most successful businesses on the planet all start with the who, not the how. What I mean is you have to build your audience way before worrying about what you're going to sell them. It sounds backwards, but think about it. If you had a list of people who knew you, trusted you, looked to you for your knowledge, appreciated your opinion, and saw you as an expert, it doesn't matter what you want to sell, you'll sell more of it. Having a list is often what separates failing businesses from those that thrive. It's often not about the product quality, which is crazy to think about, right? You put all this time and energy into making a good product, better sales video, crazy conversion testing software, and nothing. It's because the audience is all that matters, and I want to help you get that. Then she clicked, give me more. I said, see, I've been building my business around my audience, not my audience around my business, and there is a distinction there. I think that's a really interesting quote for people to hear. I've been building my business around my audience, not building my audience around my business. And so if you build your audience first, you can build a business from that. Yeah. But if you build the business first, now you've got to build the audience. It's so much harder because it's like, oh, they're only going to know me for that thing. And now I've got to get their respect. I've got to get them to trust me. But I'm doing it in a way we all know as prospects for other businesses. We know when they're just trying to prospect us for business. But if you build your audience before you have the offer, now you're building it in a genuine way. And it's like, I might make you an offer in the future, but right now, here's this thing. That's why Kickstarters work so well, because there's that, oh, okay, they're getting me in their audience before they've ever released a product. They can't deliver it to me right now. This isn't as much of a sales thing as it is an opportunity to be ahead of the game.
Yep.
And that's why it works so well, because we don't feel like we're being prospected into a sale right this second. And so the idea is build your business around your audience. Don't build your audience around your business. If you leverage that and you actually think about that, you'll make so much more money. Because that's what I did. I built an audience, and then I'll build any business around it. That's what we're doing with Wealthery, is I'll build the Wealthery app, and then I'll make entrepreneur-based clothing, because there's going to be people that would listen. It's audience first, then business. And you can sell all this like massive circle, right, of different businesses. Let's say that I want to sell, I'm obviously going to do a supplement company. That's based around supplements that entrepreneurs will need, because I have an audience of people that are going to need it. Then I have clothing that fits the entrepreneur, because that's the motif. I could also sell training to the entrepreneur, teaching them how to launch their business. All of this stuff, right? I could also sell events for entrepreneurs. Like, once you have the audience, it doesn't matter what you sell. But if you were like, oh, I want to do events for entrepreneurs, it's like, okay, so now you've got your event space. Now the only way you grow your audience is by going out and making ads to get people to come to your event, but they don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't look at you as an expert, they have no idea why they should come to your event. Versus the opposite of that is, oh, now I'm going to have an event. Like, you know what's funny? You've obviously been in Chatmatic with Chatmatic now for a couple of years. If you went into a Chatmatic group and were like, hey, I'm hosting an event, it's about Chatmatic, you guys want to come? People would come because they know you at this point. But if you had tried to do that without being a part of Chatmatic, or if you didn't use Chatmatic's audience, nobody would know you, nobody would come.
Well, yeah, if I did that 4 years ago when I first started or something. Like,
right, or if you did it now, but you didn't use Chatmatic's audience, who would come? Nobody knows you, right? So it's like, that's the thing. people do it backwards. And I've noticed it really in the last couple of years because now it's easier to make offers, right? It's so much easier to make offers. But you look at all the people who, that's why brand ambassadors are such a big deal, because somebody like Tom Brady starts pushing FTX and everybody signs up for FTX because they know and like Tom Brady, not because they care about FTX. So it's like you build the audience and then any business you want around that. So why do you think Fenty, which is Rihanna's makeup company, why did it get sold for $1 billion? It got bought out for $1 billion because people knew Rihanna and she built the makeup company. It wasn't because her makeup's any different, better, or
I wonder if she still has to like push it for him.
Oh, she's still an owner.
Oh,
it's just it's Louis Vuitton, the company who owns Louis Vuitton, bought into and is now a partner.
Wow.
And so the company's now valued at over $1 billion, and I think she's still 50% owner. I could be totally wrong about that, but I know it's over $1 billion. Either way, the reason she got it there isn't because, like, I don't know shit about her makeup. I don't know anything. I do think that she took a little bit of a spin on it, which I think was awesome. She has a bit of a spin that's, I think, more like ethnic based or like makeup that is made more not for just like white women. And I think that was the big issue, was like most makeup was made with certain tones and shades and stuff that wasn't friendly to all audiences.
Yeah.
Rihanna's was more that way, but it's also really bold. I noticed a lot of her ads were like really bold red lipstick and stuff, which I think is cool. But
and she's just a mega influencer.
She was a mega star. She had an audience. And now think about Ryan Reynolds. Why is Aviation Gin so awesome?
I mean, I love Ryan Reynolds.
It's not because it's awesome, but it's because that ad. Did you see the ad he did where he talks about?
He's so good at it. Yeah.
So good at advertising, but it's because he had an audience.
He had the vasectomy one where he made. Remember, he was using his gin, and he's like, "I call this one the vasectomy."
Oh yeah, where he made a drink. Yeah,
where he made a drink. I'm like,
he also had an ad that was talking about how he made juniper gin, how he made it with like the fresh junipers, and it was like fresh tears of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
So the advertising. Why is The Rock? Why is Zoa Energy the #1 fastest growing energy drink? It's not because it's the best energy drink. Actually, I saw it in the store. It has like 28 grams of sugar. I thought it was going to be sugar free. It's because The Rock told everybody to go check it out. Why is Terramana Tequila the #1 fast tequila brand? Because The Rock told everybody to go get it.
Yeah.
It's literally all about audience and has nothing to do with the product or the quality of product. And that's what I think is crazy. Terramana Tequila is not even that good.
That's why he's able to have all these different things. Like,
yes. 100%.
He doesn't just have one company. It's like
he has a movie production company. He sells tequila because who goes to the movie? People who drink tequila? Great. People who drink energy drinks? Let's do it. If he opened up a gym, everybody would sign up. Yeah. You look at Floyd Mayweather, opened up a boxing gym. It wasn't a revolutionary thing. It was actually it's a new take on an old idea, but it's because he's Mayweather Gym. He put his name on it, and now he can sell it. Everybody right now that you see who is like, what's his name? Thor. The guy who plays Thor.
Jason Momoa?
Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth has one of the #1 fitness apps. And it's because he got super shredded for Thor, got super big, and he released this fitness app showing people what he did. Now it's like the Peloton of apps, essentially, with no equipment, workout apps. They have food, meal planning in there. Killer app. I think it's like $10 a month. Absolutely killing it. Hundreds of thousands of users. Dude's set. Like, all these people are coming out with things that... there's another wine called Avalon, I think it's called, or something like that. And it's from Kate Hudson or one of those, from the girl who played Something About Mary. Whatever her name is. God. These brands.
Who was the first one to do it? Wasn't it like P. Diddy?
P. Diddy did it with Ciroc.
Ciroc.
Long time ago. And Jay-Z has that champagne brand.
I mean, Jay-Z is...
just mega. But again, all this stuff that Jay-Z has done, he leveraged his audience and his net worth in order to be able to get into a lot of these investments.
Yep.
But if you think about everybody who's selling big brands and doing big things with big brands, a lot of them have a big audience. And they start with the big audience, and then they say, hey, if 10% of my big audience buys this thing, I'm set. Mm-hmm. And it's that idea of the 1,000 true fans. The best way to build true fans is to communicate with them consistently, not just on social media, because on social media, there's algorithms that dictate that you can't reach everybody whenever you want. So I built Chatmatic to be the bridge between the algorithms and your 1,000 true fans. The people that opt into Messenger are way more likely to become your fans. It also gives you this permanent touch point with those fans that you can go back to whenever you want. So to build that relationship, think about like what's the best way to build a relationship? It's usually to talk to somebody.
Well, it's, boils down to trust.
Right.
Like, that's with any
Trust. And we've talked about the trust funnel, for instance, which is this makeup of value over time.
Yeah.
Like you build trust by giving somebody value over time. Why do you trust your parents? Because they took care of you for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, and they didn't ask for things. And they're not trying to sell you stuff. They built the audience. And then if they ever came over to you and they're like, you need to take this, you'd be like, of course. Like growing up, we were sick. Take this medicine. Got it, Mom. Whatever you say, because I trust you. Right? Doctors, same thing. We have this inherent trust with them because we think that behind the scenes they did, they went and got educated. But with parents and with family, we trust them because they provided us value over a period of time. And so we'll do what is necessary. We'll take their suggestions. So, going to a movie, if, you've obviously worked with me for a long time. If you said, that movie's really funny, I would take that opinion, right? And be like, oh, this must be a funny movie. And there we go.
I think even to kind of go back, and I feel like I've brought this up a few times. Like it took me a while to trust the Dr. Squatch. I've been telling you about that.
Yeah.
And the thing that I kept getting their ads, and I would like check it out.
Totally. Oh, they're everywhere all the time.
They're everywhere, and their ads are incredible. And like what they do, the message they convey, and I'm like,
yep.
I gotta
funny.
try these.
I know.
Guys
And
out.
you know what's funny is now when I see an ad a bunch of times, you know what I've actually started saying to myself is like, I'm going to end up buying this thing. I have no interest in this right now, but I know that Facebook's algorithm is so good that they're showing me this ad so many times because they know I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
Like that's just crazy that it's that good. But I agree with like Dr. Squatch, for instance, right? They built a relationship over time because they kept showing you that product and they were there. That consistency of them being there was a big factor. Now, they obviously make a lot of other sales as well by building that email list. So there's obviously different levels to an email list. There's a buyer list. There's an abandoned cart list. There's an inbound kind of email list, which is your general prospect list. They haven't bought from you yet, but they're at least interested enough to give you their email.
Yep.
One of the cool things about what Messenger and what Chatmatic provides and Instagram DM is you can get that prospect's information, the ability to reach them while they're on their way in versus on their way out. And that always really enticed me with Chatmatic. Is like I could make sequences that collect information about people as they're getting information about me. It's this exchange of position in the relationship where when you go and meet somebody, you exchange information equally, right? It's an equitable exchange of, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
I'll give you my number. Oh, give me yours, right?
Yeah.
Whenever somebody gives me my number now, I say, okay, I'll text you.
Absolutely.
Or vice versa, right? It's an exchange, kind of the same information that's going on in what we do in Chatmatic in these sequences is, let me give you information about my company. I'm going to ask, hey, do you want something? Here's my, give me your email. Okay, great. Now we're exchanging conversation-ish back and forth. Mm-hmm. It's just, there's so much that could be done from any brand, from any business by using these automations. And what I wanted Chatmatic to become was a software tool that everybody uses that has a business, regardless of what you're doing. And there's different phases to what I think everybody could use it for. One, if you're doing cold audience, like let's say you're e-commerce, you're doing cold audience, walk people through what makes your product different. Indoctrinate them right away. Let them know this is an ad. They click on the ad, they go through, and they're going through a sequence to find out about it. Like we've talked about with that foldable grill, right?
Yep.
It was like, okay, I see an ad for a foldable grill. I click on it. I go into a sequence versus to their website, right? So if I go into a sequence, they say, hey, I want to give you the best deal we've ever given on this grill. Here's some like quick perks of the grill. It's foldable. It goes completely flat. We have two different versions. Before I show you the different versions, give me your email address. And what I'll do is I'll instantly discount them by 20%. So you'll see the best price we've ever had. Okay, cool. Give me the email. Because I'm at least interested enough in seeing the grill that I'll become a prospect.
Yeah.
So I get the 20%. I now see the grills. Maybe I don't buy. You can now email me over in the future and you'd be able to make me now buy. And Chatmatic can automate these emails, can automate the collection of these emails. So maybe you don't do all of your budget or all of your advertising through a system like Chatmatic, but at least a solid 20 to 30% so that you're building that prospect list while you're selling your grills. And then on top of all of this, the thing that I really loved was the 24-hour window that we're allowed inside of Messenger and inside of Instagram,
Absolutely.
where we can automatically follow up with a prospect for up to 24 hours for free inside of that conversation. So if I send them into a conversation versus sending them to my website, and I did this demo a while ago with the beef company, the Butcher Box. When I saw an ad that was for free salmon, when I click on the ad, it sends me to their website and it's got a quiz that says, "What kind of box do you want?" First off, I don't know because I don't even know anything about your company.
Yeah, what are the different boxes?
Or like, why would I buy from you? Is there quality to your beef? Is it from a certain state? Like, what's cool about it? Why am I buying from you? Not just go to a quiz like, "What box do you want?" Well, I guess I want beef and chicken. I don't know, but give me a reason to buy it. Tell me something about it, and then you go through this questionnaire, and then halfway through the questionnaire, or like 3/4 of the way through the questionnaire, if I try to leave, it pops a little pop-up that says, "Hey, do you want some free bacon? Give me your email." So they value email. So what I did was I sent it into a sequence. I asked the same question. And I told them a little bit about it. And I was like, "Hey, you're going to get this free salmon. Choose a box. Here's our pork. Our pork is heritage pork. It's this. Our chicken is this." So now they get a little bit more information. And at the bottom, it had 4 options: beef and chicken, just beef, just chicken, pork, whatever.
Yeah.
They select that. Now, if they don't finish all the way through and buy, we can automatically follow up with them an hour later and be like, "Hey, you selected beef and chicken. Do you still want to finish your order?" Mm-hmm. That's automatic free cart abandonment, essentially. And people aren't using it.
Like
everybody in the e-commerce space.
2 hours later, and then 23 hours later, like
use that one thing.
Yeah.
And then here's what's cool: if they engage in that 24 hours, let's say you follow up with them 23 hours later, and you're like, "Hey, do you still want this? Yes or no?" If they click yes, new 24 hours. So it's like we call it free 24-hour retargeting, but it could turn into 6 days, 20 days. If they engage every 24 hours, you get a new window, right? So when you're making your sequence, you can just make it to extend. Like, okay, I've got my 24 hours, but if they engage in this 24 hours, I'm going to have this. If they don't get the rest of the sequence. Facebook doesn't allow us to send that message. So, Chatmatic literally allows every brand the ability to do all of these things: collect leads, free follow-up for at least 24 hours, could be more than that. Get information about your prospects and point them in the direction of the thing that they want. So the other big case study was, I looked at, as we were building Chatmatic, I looked at some of the case studies that Facebook had, and they had one there about Lego for Christmas. And Lego increased their average, what was it? They decreased their cost to get a buyer and increased the amount that buyer spent by like 7x by literally asking somebody, "How old is your kid?" From 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, because Legos have to be bought by the age of the person who's going to be playing with it. Because if it's, my son Zane's not even 2, he has to use the big Legos, so he can't swallow them.
Can't do a
and he can't
million
put
pieces,
together like a friggin', the Death Star.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But Bailey could use smaller pieces now, but would need one that's like, probably more age appropriate. Again, not a Death Star that's like 2,000 pieces. Maybe she wants to put together like a little van or something that she can play with. But by literally just doing that, instead of sending them to their website and then making the person look, they just ask them in there, and then they have that information about them forever. So now when they send that let's say they ask them for email. I don't know if they did this, but let's say they ask them for email at some point. Now they know that person's got a kid who's 3 years old. Guess what? In a year from now, that kid's 4.
Yep.
In a year from now, that kid's 5. You know that.
Yep.
So Lego, when you send an email, this was 2 years ago from the campaign. Now let's send an email to everybody who was 3 at the time. Now we can tag them as having a 3-year-old. 2 years later, they got a 5-year-old. So now let's send an email to our 3s 2 years later that says, "Hey, here's the 5-year-old stuff."
Yep.
And you'll still make money.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the craziest thing. And then also, like, what if Lego, and I think this is a brilliant idea. What if Lego, and I don't know, maybe they do. This would be cool. What if they had a recycling program where you could sell back complete Lego sets from prior? Because I know, for instance, like puzzles, my kids don't put together puzzles anymore that they've done 100 times. They won't keep doing it because now it's like, okay, why would I keep building the same puzzle? Same thing with Legos. They get tired of some of the Legos pretty quickly. They're like, it's fine. Yeah. What if they could recycle it down? Like for every 4 that you traded back in, you got 1 in the new year that you wanted. And so that would be kind of cool because then you could pay less for some recycled Legos. That could also be an option. That's just a side business idea. But if you had emails, you could be like, "Hey, your kid, 2 years ago you bought this 3-year-old one.
Here's our 5-year-old stuff.
Do you want to recycle this for the 5-year-old?" And that's a new email. But I do think that by being able to do email and SMS collection inside of one sequence, and the cool thing is, if you collect email and SMS on a landing page or on a website, it's usually in one form, right? So like name, email, phone number.
Yeah.
If the person doesn't fill that out, you don't get their name, their email, or their phone number. Whereas in Messenger or in Instagram, in our sequences, you ask for one at a time. Give me your email. Okay, I'll give you the email. I don't feel like giving you my mobile yet, but you haven't earned it, right? Like go through email, and now that email, eventually that relationship will turn into, okay, they can have my mobile now. But it increases opt-in rates, and we even saw, what I think is crazy, the normal name, email, phone number opt-in is going to be like 20%. Inside of our sequences, 100% of people who give us their email usually give us mobile, which I think is wild.
Yeah, I want to say I remember looking it up, and it was right around 18% of people fill out a contact form.
On in total, yeah.
Yeah, on the page.
But we're getting like 80 to 90% email opt-in
Easily,
inside of our sequences. So
easily that.
again, getting back to like, I created Chatmatic to be this bridge. I wanted it to be a software that was easy enough to use, that any company could come in, plug into it, start making these automations, and promote them either via ads or organic. Thankfully, now we have a lot more organic stuff because of Instagram. And, you know, we built in private replies. So if somebody comments on a post on Instagram or Facebook, you can instantly message them. Just thinking about how, and this hit me last week, there are businesses out there that would make substantially larger amounts of money using one of our features, like the comment reply feature. That's all you did, you could make a lot more money.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your offer is. Every time somebody comments on a post, you can send them a message. That message can be unique, or it can be the same message that you send on every single comment, right? But when I say unique, if you're promoting white shoes and you use hashtag white, and now every time in our system we have hashtag genius, now you have every hashtag white post is going to get sent the message saying, hey, thanks for commenting on our shoes. Here's the white shoes. That would make you more money.
I think even something as simple as like a stories mention.
Yeah,
Hey,
totally.
thank you so much. If you want 20% off your next order or whatever, you can kind of run them through like a little.
Well, and here's what's cool.
We
We talk about the direct value of it, right? Like, okay, yeah, send them back in, buy something. Somebody tagged me in a brand. Here's 20% in a stories. Here's 20% off your next purchase. Good for the next 72 hours. You'd make money.
Yeah.
But what is a relationship worth? Like, what's the ROI of developing that relationship to the point where now somebody tags you? They've already bought, right?
Yep.
This is the thought.
Ideally.
What if all you did was say, hey, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tagging our brand. Gosh, we really appreciate, you guys. I made a special video. And you literally sent them to a page that had a video of you, the CEO of the company, going, hey, I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you. We really appreciate all of the sharing on social. We really appreciate you buying from our brand and being a customer. I'm not going to offer you anything here. I just wanted to say thank you. And, with your next order, we're going to do this. Or if you feel like it as a reward, what I wanted to do was just say thank you. Here's 20% off your next purchase. Use it whenever you want. If you don't even have to hard push anybody.
Yeah.
Literally thank them for what they did, and you'll make more money. And it comes down to being as simple as this. Literally sign into Chatmatic, make the sequence that has the automatic reply so that when somebody tags you in a story, it sends this message. The message is like 2 messages long. First one, hey, I've got something special for you. Thank you so much for tagging. Click, give me my gift. They click, give me my gift. Boom, here's a link over to this page. I made a very special video for you. Wanted to say thank you so much. Bang, done. One feature makes Chatmatic absolutely make you more money than you pay to use Chatmatic. And it's something that you can do to further indoctrinate the brand building for your buyers.
And it's such a simple entry point.
And it's like such a small use case just of your buyers. Like, what if you did an ad that went to your buyers as well that did the same thing, right? That could increase that. What if you did, anytime somebody comments on a post, you sent them a message? What if you did, hey, I'm opening up my masterclass, DM me masterclass to get on my list. We're going to be doing this soon with, I think with Matt Frazier, most likely, helping him build his list, where he's going to say, hey, I just want to let you guys know I have an insiders list. If you want to get on the inside and get like the best deals that I get from brands, I obviously get a lot of brands. So if you want to get those ahead of everybody else, we're creating a special place where we only share these new deals with our insiders, with our newsletter.
Yeah.
And so now they DM you VIP, and you run them through a very simple 5-6 step sequence. It's like, hey, if you want to be a VIP, just type your email below. Okay, great. I also want to let you guys know that we have a text message one that's going to be only in-house stuff. So we're not going to send you guys other people's offers. It's only going to be the stuff that we do, letting you know when we're coming into certain towns or whatever. Now you get their mobile number. Now you've got a VIP. You've got somebody who's literally saying, I want to be considered important.
And I feel like this whole conversation boils down to like the importance of communication and the trust, basically providing value. A VIP sequence is just that.
It's
like
literally
you're giving them the most valuable stuff that you have to offer.
And I think I don't know any brands that are doing it, that are doing a VIP program outside of a buyer VIP program. Like they treat their buyers better and they call them VIPs. But what about VIPs who haven't bought from you yet? People who really love what you're doing, but they just haven't bought from you yet. Create a list of those people so that you can offer them stuff when it's time to make those offers. And Chatmatic, again, bridges that gap. Because if you wanted to do this, let's say you're like, that's a great idea. I want to do that. I want a VIP program. I want a VIP list. You would have to build a landing page. Now, you as an entrepreneur, you've got to, I got to make a landing page. I got to get the background. Do I have to have a landing page video? What about this? Like, okay, so I got to have this copy and this text. And okay, now I can make the page. Okay, great. Now I got to make a thank you page. So when they opt in, they actually go somewhere. Where am I sending them? What's on the thank you page? Do I make them an offer? Do I push them to a different offer? Is this an affiliate thing? And then, so instead, make a sequence. You don't have to have a landing page. You don't have to have a thank you page. You don't have to have videos. You're literally just walking them through text saying, here's what we're going to do for you. And you collect their email. Chatmatic pops up a little thing now that says, hey, you've got an email autoresponder integrated. Do you want to send this information to your email platform? You do? Cool. Integrate it.
The thing with Matt is, and I don't know all the different stuff that he has going on, but I'm assuming he has like programming. It's like me, I wouldn't pay for his programming just because I would much rather go to the gym and
or like you go to the gym, so you're not doing individual programming.
I'm not doing individual programming, but maybe he comes out with a really clean pre-workout.
Well, he already has supplement line 321 Podium, right? So it's like now sell him something else. That insider list can promote all of your stuff. Hey, I've got a YouTube channel. Are you on it? I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. I'll subscribe.
There you go.
Boom. All in an email. So the idea of Chatmatic was to literally be the bridge for every brand to go from social media, whether it's ads or organic, to having prospects that you can market to, that you can monetize in your email platforms. You can use Chatmatic's built-in SendGrid integration to send emails from within our platform. You don't even have to have the other one if you don't want it yet. But to collect information about prospects as they come through and allow you to market to them whenever you want. By grabbing SMS, which again, you can send SMS broadcasts in Chatmatic. You can send email broadcasts in Chatmatic. And you can have those emails and SMS in sequences as well. So when you collect the SMS to send a text message immediately without having to log into another platform, send a text message immediately that's like, hey, just want to let you know we got you. You're in. Now here's this. And one of the things that we're going to be adding soon is that two-way text conversation. So you could actually, once you send a text to somebody, you can actually go back into that text history and now text them individually and be like, hey, just to let you know, I'm really here. It just took a minute. Do this, blah, blah, blah. So that'll be a really cool feature. But yeah, it's funny because I feel like I could shout from the rooftops and I could go into any building, any company right now and be like, and if they were like, hey, Travis, how would I use Chatmatic? Easily. I could find the Facebook ways they could use it, the Instagram ways they could use it and have no issue. And I'm almost surprised, and it just kind of probably shows a lack somewhere in my game of that we don't have millions of users. Like with all the businesses that are out there that could benefit from it, I get there's a level of complication to it, but the reason I built it, I guess that's probably a good note for me. I'm sure every company founder is like thinks the same way, or at least they should, that every business should use their product. Like I've built it to be easy for marketers, and also from a cost-effective standpoint. Like just as a random side note, one of the reasons that I made the pricing what I made it was because I wanted to reward the people that actually use it. So the top tier of our pricing plans reward the people that use the platform.
And I feel like that's
as opposed to everybody else. Everybody else punishes you the more you use it. If you have 1,000 subscribers, you pay $15. Oh, that's great. So reward the people who are at the bottom, not the people who are at the top. As you start to use it and you become one of our best users, if you're in one of our competitors, you pay so much money, but now you're stuck because now you've got all these automations. You can't go anywhere. Ours caps out at a certain price. As you get more subscribers, it actually caps out. If you have 500,000 subscribers, you're paying the same as somebody with 101,000. because we cap it out. We don't continue to punish you the more you use it. I think that's important because we have one person now with like 1.2 million subscribers. He's not going to have to pay 1.5 million. He doesn't have to pay any more than somebody with 101,000. And that's the way that it should be. And that's what I wanted to build it as. Like, okay, as a company, as you start to use this thing, start generating more leads, start getting more prospects, building these automations, you're going to be stuck to us because you're going to start getting leads to them and you can't change those.
Text message cost goes down.
Yep.
You know, cost per message goes
so
down.
It's just the more you use it, the more benefit you get from it. But even at the most basic price point, at 500 subscribers, 501, you would owe $97 a month to Chatmatic if you're in our normal inside of the membership area. $97 a month for 501 prospects. If you're not making more than $97 a month off it, you're not using it right. Because technically at that point, what you should have is 500 email addresses.
Or maybe you're not using it at all. You just connected it.
You can connect it and get subscribers, in which case we'll work with anybody. I would happily say, okay, let's reboot you.
Yeah, let's get some stuff set up for you, whatever.
Figure out a way to extend that. But the long and short of it is, as you get 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers, if you're collecting emails from all these people and mobile from a majority of them, you're sending emails, you're making money. Chatmatic is now paid for. It's one of those softwares that literally pays for itself quicker than just about anything else because you should be starting to build those prospects. It's not like a sales page.
Yep.
If I don't drive people to a sales page, that sales page creator doesn't pay for itself, right? Because I'm not making any money. Mm-hmm. With Chatmatic, whatever you sell, affiliate offers, whatever it is, as you generate leads, it pays for itself because you can use those leads to market whatever it is that you want, whether it's your own offer, affiliate offers, CPA stuff, brands that reach out to you and they want you to promote their stuff. That's great. So I wanted to make this episode today to talk about those things. So like, not necessarily what differentiates us from anybody else, because I think that when you get in the platform, you can find that out. We are going to differentiate ourselves more moving forward with more like what I would call built-in widgets, more things that make it easy for somebody to, get that one-off case study review for themselves. Like they know what they're getting. But I wanted to kind of cover, because we don't really talk about Chatmatic as much as we talk about the need for something like Chatmatic.
And like different campaign ideas and stuff like that.
So, Chatmatic obviously is the arm that makes all of that possible. And it's the tool that we use that we've seen all of these things happen. So any of the campaigns that we talk about, X amount of profit or 15% conversion rates or $3,000 from this weekend thing or, $70,000 from that competition. We use Chatmatic to do all of it. And I just, I'm glad that we were, with Bots and Business Podcast, I made it to be a podcast where we could talk about all of that stuff as it happened, where I don't think anybody else is really talking about, bots, so to speak, in a podcast.
I don't think so either.
As it relates to every single business, because it's not like real estate companies could use it, e-commerce, local businesses. It doesn't matter. Make a sequence that tells your prospect about you.
Well, we've done it for all of those.
Every business.
Businesses.
Every business. We have templates inside of our template library for most of those businesses.
Yeah.
And I just look at like anybody listening to this that's got an Instagram following, you're literally psychotic if you're not using this, because this is the best way. You can start getting leads in an hour from right now. So 100%, I would definitely suggest go check it out. Go try chatmatic.com. Go check it out. Let us know if you guys have any questions. But hopefully this clears up a little bit about like my motivation for creating it and what I want Chatmatic to be. I want Chatmatic to be something that hundreds of thousands of people use to generate leads every single day on autopilot. And I can't think of anything else that's a better pursuit to help local, other little medium-sized small businesses with, would be to help them generate more leads, because I know the value of having a list.
Yep.
It's been what's kept me online for my entire career. And I know that there's a lot of businesses out there that are going to negate building their list. They're going to push it off. And then one day is going to come where, they have to make that decision of like, how do I keep my business going? I don't have a way of making sales. If you had a list, you'd have a way of making sales. So hopefully people take that to heart and really appreciate the idea that, wow, Chatmatic is a guaranteed way of building my list. That's all it is. So now I just got to figure out, what do I need to do?
And it's free to start to use.
Just free for up to 500 subscribers.
Just log in.
Start making sequences and literally get in and start making the sequences in the way that you would think that you'd make sequences. Go to workflow, add new, and just type stuff out and see what happens. And like press buttons. Plenty of training videos on all of it, obviously inside the platform. But when it comes to lead collection, that's like the number one thing. And then lead monetization is after that. And that's what most big businesses have that others are failing on. That's why all these people are creating huge brands out of their audience, even without having an actual list. It's technically leads. You know, they have prospects, and they make even more when they turn them into formal leads, which is email and SMS. So I hope everybody takes that out of this and says, you know what, no matter what, I need to build my list. No matter what I want to do in the future, if I have a list that I can market to when I have that offer, or I have an offer right now that I want to start selling, the best way to do it, build that relationship, build that trust, get people to look at you as the authority in your space, and or that, indoctrinate them into knowing what your product is about. And you'll make more money by sending emails and by sending SMS.
I agree.
And you never have to stress. You don't have to stress as much. It allows you to grow. It's definitely a communication channel that more people need to be paying attention to. But hopefully somebody takes something really good out of this one. But feel free to share this with anybody that you know that's on Instagram, that's on Facebook, that has any kind of a following, that runs ads. They need this. Everybody should be using this to build their prospects up. And that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one.